It's a beautiful morning in the city of Lagos. My name is Victor Ogbenka and you're back again on Vanguard Live. And yes, the program is today in the news, looking at all the exciting headlines. And I hope you are enjoying your public holiday. Yes, as you do, you're trying to make sure that you're not missing anything, giving you back to back the news as they break, and then all of the news and analysis. That is what we do, and that is why we are Vanguard. And with me in the studio today is a social commentator, the program director of YNAC. Yes, Mr. Adetunji Adeniro. So good to have you here.
Adetunji Adeniro is fine.
Well, whatever your ideal, you know. Okay, it's
good to be here.
Great. It's good to have you here. Okay, very quickly, let us see what's happening in Nigeria according to the newspapers and what they say. First, of course, is the Vanguard. Yes, and it's the first. And then we have the major headline. Yes, it's the first.
I'm not disagreeing.
You don't have to disagree.
That's what I'm here. So,
okay, great.
Associated with the best.
Yeah, thank you. So, APC crisis latest. Impunity marked your era. APC blast Oyegun. It looks like the war of word is still continuing between the APC and them Oyegun. Talking about Oyegun firing a shot at Dr. Shiomole, for losing some of those seats, calling him, all sorts of things. Now the APC is reacting. Just what
for me, I mean, it's a good day for democracy. That's one. The second is the fact that we're just getting into a new, the second time of the current administration. If this continues, it's just another cycle that we're going into. It means that we are saying because of the party disagreement within the party, will it not affect the next phase of governance in Nigeria? So when the previous party chairman starts having issues with the current party chairman, what should happen naturally is that the previous party chairman should be able to advise the current party chairman. The current party chairman should be able to go to the previous party chairman to say, I need your input on, okay, now we want to set up the cabinet, I need your input, advice, we want to start appointing, people, we need input, but now what we see is like the opposite. You see a situation where, instead of advice, like a mentor-mentee relationship, you now see like a rival relationship. And if that continues, that will, delay that will delay some of the processes that should lead to the next phase of the governance. And it's eroding the dividends of democracy that Nigerians, actually yearn for.
You know how it works in our climb. You don't, you hardly, resign or leave an office yourself. You have to be pushed out. Unfortunately. So, being what it was, Oyegun was forced out of that office to be replaced by another statesman from his own state, and then it looks like it's really bad for the APC. And this is a very sensitive time in the history of the democracy, and also for the APC themselves. So,
but the thing is, it's actually because of the kind of politics we practice in Nigeria. If you are in an office and there is a job description, you know exactly what you're supposed to do, and you're actually doing that job. It's unlike maybe places like the UK, see Theresa May that just resigned. I remember someone told me when David Cameron was leaving the office, someone said like he was whistling. When you're tired of something,
you just feel like this is a
you just feel like, man, I just want to go home. So it's a situation where there's a system. You know what you're supposed to do. There's a job, and you're not losing money anyhow. So there's a system that monitors everything that you do, and you start asking yourself, is this really worth it? But in Nigeria, is it like the opposite of the situation? So there's less work to do and a lot of noise that you make. So you don't want to leave that comfort zone. It's like a comfort zone. You don't want to leave until you are pushed out. And it happens even with some of our governors and others. Even when they leave office, they still want to control whoever continues the office.
If you look at the writer of that headline, it says, feel free to join PDP. APC scribe tells aggrieved members. Feel free to join PDP. APC scribe tells aggrieved members.
Actually, there's something that is happening in Ondo States. Some aspirants, so House of Reps, Senate aspirant, they wanted to contest and they were denied party ticket by some party leaders. They actually went to court, and before the governorship election, Oshibajo went there, had a meeting with them, and he promised that they were going to be compensated after the governorship election. So those guys worked for the party and they won. I mean, that's Governor Fayemi.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, they are
That Ekiti State.
Ekiti
Okay.
State. Now they are currently, they are back, and they are saying that now they've worked. There's no compensation. So the discussion now is whoever is like an agreed member of the party, just feel free to join PDP,
So we've gotten
which
over
is
more.
not good for a party system. In any political party, just think of even the new party guys, those guys that came out in 2019 and now they are nowhere to be found. They are currently having issues. When it comes to handling people, it is not easy putting people together. If you want to know how difficult it is to rule a country, just open a WhatsApp group and give people rules of the WhatsApp group and tell them not to post anything outside the objective of the group. You will see some people that would still forward some broadcasts. It means that people don't listen.
So are we a reflection of the leaders that we have?
Every country gets the kind of leaders that they deserve.
Okay.
Yes. So if you have a bad leader, look at the followership. It's most likely the followership is also bad.
So do we have bad leaders in Nigeria?
I'm not saying we have bad leaders, but I'm saying that in every society there are good and there are bad.
Okay.
Same thing in Nigeria, there are good leaders and there are bad leaders.
Okay, let us move away from that and something else. Oyinbo says, be humble, ask for secret of my success. That is Oyinbo. Was that
What's the success?
APC chairman?
What's the success? I'm not sure, but I mean.
But whatever it was,
and also success is determined by, it depends on how you look at success and what you determine as your success criteria. So maybe from the point of view of Oyinbo's success criteria, he was successful.
Can I tell myself I'm a successful person?
Yes, depends on what you define as what is success. So some people making, like Jay-Z, making $1 billion dollar mark is success.
Yeah.
But some people just get comfortable house, have family and have peace of mind. That's success. So it depends on what you decide as your success criteria, and that's what makes you successful.
And here PDP replying then say face your self-inflicted woes. PDP replies APC.
See, this is actually like a lacuna. It's like a space that APC is creating, and if PDP is smart enough, this is one of the best times to strike.
What exactly are they going to be striking at?
Right. So number one is even in the leadership of the National Assembly.
Okay.
Right? So when there are loopholes within the party system, remember what happened in 2015?
Yeah.
So when there are loopholes within the party system and there are aggrieved members and your party is still saying that you can join the opposition if you like, so it's not a good
it's not
a good situation to be as a political party.
Okay, moving away from that major headline on the Vanguard, we go to page 8 where we have Salah as the kicker. He said, I'll secure Abuja residents despite voting against me. We've been through this road before.
So
in 2000.
When you become a leader of a state or you become a leader of a country, irrespective of whoever voted for you, as soon as you are sworn in as the leader of that country, you are the leader of everybody. I mean everybody. So the security of everybody is in your hands, whether they voted for you or they do, because that's one of the hallmarks of a leader. You should be able to withstand criticism. You should be able to withstand opposition, because you are not always going to be right. You are not always going to be wrong, but you should be able to define the line between right and wrong. You should be able to define the line between acknowledging other people's opinions, right? So the fact that they didn't vote you and they had a different opinion was just a mere fact of exercising their fundamental human rights, which is still within the context of our constitution.
I think he was also just trying to be humorous, just saying that we'll get to.
The president has always been labeled as someone who jokes a lot, but remember in 2015 when he had this 19.7 and 5% discussion, that you can't expect that a region that gives you 97% of their vote to have the same dividend as people that give you 5% of the vote. So
that was not a joke.
That's what I'm saying. That if that was not a joke, you can't say this is also a joke.
Okay, but right now he's saying that he will secure Abuja resident despite voting against him.
I'm
so
saying
just
that
like you
are
said,
not supposed to say that as a leader.
okay, regardless of whatsoever happened,
You are not supposed to say that, because now they are
like
your
you're doing
people.
them a favor.
Your people. You are not doing them a favor. You are doing your job.
Exactly.
You are doing your job, so you are not supposed to say that.
Okay, that's from the president. He said, "I'll secure Abuja residents despite voting against me." You can see that on page 8 of the Vanguard. And away from that report, still on still on the Vanguard on page 9, we have Nigerians under attack, says Cardinal Okoye.
So this was coming out of the fact that the Islamization of Nigeria. The president went for the OIC conference in America, and people are carrying rumors. There's also going to be a festival, by the way, like the Islamic festival in Nigeria. So people carrying rumors that president wants to make Nigeria an Islamic nation. And I think Nigeria is so much divided along those lines, the religious lines, that we take our eyes away from what is actually needed and relevant to our progress. Religion is not what is needed. Religion is not what is relevant. It is our ability to come out and say, this is what we want as a country, and it's a unified country, right? So right now, Nigeria is not unified along those lines of thoughts in terms of innovation, in terms of technology, in terms of proper development of the state. But we tend to have these sections of, I belong to this religion, I belong to this region, I belong to this tribe. And politicians actually understand. And that's why when a politician comes out, the first thing he wants to see, who are the religious leaders? He appeals to the religious leaders. Who are the traditional rulers? We are not looking at who are the innovative thinkers, who are the future leaders of tomorrow that can actually lead the country the way we want. So we are still running in cycles.
Talking about the religious leaders, they are Nigerians, of course, and they also, regardless of our religious affiliation as a people, even if I were a religious leader, can I still say, can I still give my own candid opinion about the rulership, the governance of the country?
You can give
without getting into trouble.
You can give
because I asked that question because Cardinal Okoye is a Christian leader, and if he says Nigeria is under attack, other religion might see it as this is trying to attack or is inciting violence.
Inciting
so is it out of place for it to say Nigeria is under attack if Nigeria is really under attack?
You need to be very explicit.
Is Nigeria under attack?
Under attack of what?
Insecurity, kidnapping, banditry.
See, that's the stereotype that we make.
Okay.
I met some Indian friends, right? Some few weeks ago, and it was. He had not been in Nigeria for more than 1 year, and I asked him. So when he was coming to Nigeria, what were the things he heard about Nigeria and all of that? And he said before he came to Nigeria, everything he had was more of terrorism. Nigeria is a dangerous place to be. You won't survive there, But he still practiced back and came to Nigeria because he got a job in Nigeria. And he said ever since he came to Nigeria, he has not seen any of such things that he saw in the
Where is this location?
Sorry?
Where is this location?
It's in Lagos. But I'm saying that the fact that there's Boko Haram in the upper part of the north, not even the entire north, the fact that we're having insurgents in the upper part of the north, it does not make up the Nigerian entity.
Okay, but
so if you say Nigeria is under attack of what? So if you say terrorism, is Lagos under attack of terrorism? No. Is Osun State under attack of terrorism?
Maybe kidnapping.
See, kidnapping is not terrorism. It's another aspect of
it's
crime.
Insecurity.
It's insecurity.
Let's look at some umbrella name for some of the challenges we have as a nation. We have insecurity. We have instability in our economy. We have not so good educational system. If it is happening in the north, we can as well say that Nigeria is not a good educational nation.
No, we cannot.
Because
I'll tell you why.
Okay, maybe
we cannot.
Okay.
Just 2-3 days ago, there was mass shooting in, was it Oklahoma or somewhere? are we going to say that the entire US is under attack?
We don't practice the same system of governance.
I mean, I'm just saying the entire US is under attack.
We don't practice the same system of governance.
So
in a situation whereby we have a federal minister of education, you know, and then if there is a mass failure in the path of the nation, that is the person we point to. We are not going to point to a regional overseer. We're not going to point to a commissioner.
So that is where one of the problems that we have come from. When we say that we are the Federal Republic of Nigeria, right? We are actually a Federal Republic of Nigeria. And the fact that when something happens in Nigeria, we point to the center is where power belongs to where people think it belongs to.
It doesn't matter where it actually belongs to.
It's where people, it's a perception. Perception is reality. It's a perception. If people believe that power is on this chair, that's where it belongs to. Even though in reality it belongs somewhere else. Right? Because that is where the focus is. So where you put your focus, if you say that your country is under attack, it's insecure. If that is where our focus is, we will forever be insecure. If we say because there is mass failure, we point at the Federal Minister of Education. Even though we have a governor, we have a commissioner for education who is responsible for what is happening in his region, we don't point to that person. The same way if there is insecurity in the state and a governor who is the chief security officer is not held responsible, the CSO, chief of army staff, is not held responsible, or the commissioner for police in that state is not held responsible, and we keep pointing at the center, we'll keep coming back to that same loop.
Okay,
right?
yeah.
So now coming back to this statement, it kind of gives a general bad outlook of what Nigeria actually is, to say Nigeria is under attack. Based on what? It was just based on the fact that there is an OIC conference and there's rumor that Nigeria is becoming an Islamic nation. It's actually not because there is a fact somewhere.
Okay. Then there's another thing is what comes to your mind is when a clergy is saying something about the nation of Nigeria, you are going to look at the religious angle. He probably is speaking outside of the OIC convention.
Then you should come out and tell us.
And that is why you should get a copy of the Vanguard so that you have all the news that you have to. Okay, let us move away from that and straight up to page 10. Okay, Presidential Task Force begins operation at Mile 2 axis, talking about Apapa Oshodi Expressway. So, Mile 2, if you,
I've actually been held in Apapa Oshodi traffic maybe once or twice. But recently when I went there, where was I coming from? I think Surulere or something. Okay, so from the island through Surulere, then coming back to the mainland. When I got there, actually of recent, most of those trucks have disappeared.
How recent?
This was last weekend.
Okay.
The weekend before the last one.
Okay.
So I would say that I think there's a lot of progress, right? But we can do better. Better in the sense that it's not enough for the trucks to leave. The roads are actually bad. Actually, when you drive on top of that bridge, the railings are gone, right? So, which is actually bad.
Okay.
Just in case of there's accidents, you drive in the night and you just, maybe your car just skids or something. So, all those barriers are gone. The road itself, even when you drive on the bridge, the space between the gather is already widening. So, and I saw a picture online of recent where someone sent the picture of the bridge. I think the reinforcement was coming out of the bridge. So there needs to be proper maintenance of the road, not just getting.
So just maybe this is the first step. When these are gone, then we can start seeing
exactly. So I'm just giving a perspective that when this is done, we should not just stop there to say, oh, the trucks have left. And also we need to have alternative means of transportation.
That's a big discussion for another day. Yes, if you're just joining us, this is Today in the News on Vanguard Live, and I have with me Tunji Adeniro. Yes, we are doing this together, analyzing and looking at what the newspaper says all around the country. Okay, still on the Vanguard. On page 8 of the Vanguard, Nigeria will overcome security challenges soon. That's coming from High Lady.
Well, yes, we will.
Yes, we will. Hopefully,
We will.
We
yeah.
will be.
We need to be. We need to be positive about our country. We will.
Yes, I agree.
But I think that it's not just about wishful thinking. There are a lot of fundamental things that contribute to insecurity. Number one is job security, employment. Right. So there's very high state of kidnapping in the upper part of the north and also in the south. I was in Port Harcourt like 2 weeks recently, and one of my friends I went to visit told me that they don't go out as often as they should, and he was even telling me that if I want to go anywhere I need to be very careful, and this is the same country, like I claim to be in the same country with these people that are threatening my life. So but when you look at it critically, it means that some people somewhere are hungry, right? They don't have job, they are lazy, idle, and they need something to feed their family. And that I'm not justifying it, I'm just saying these things need to be addressed. So it's not just a matter of we're going to be out of the situation soon. No, there has to be critical steps. Create jobs, make people feel safe and secure, and also education. There has to be, about 13 point something million children are out of school. When these kids, in the next 5-10 years, when they start growing up and they don't have any form of exposure to education, what happens to them? So these are the people that will now come to the streets and disturb people like you who are making honest living, and you will not be able to.
Talking about where this statement is coming from, the former head of state of Nigeria, and we have a couple of them that have been reacting to the state of the nation and all those things. What comes to your mind when you hear a former ruler, yes, talking about the state of the nation?
I think it's good.
Because sometimes what people say is that they've been there before. What do you do about it?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Everybody has the right to say something about it.
No, it doesn't matter. Number one is that he's exercising his fundamental rights, which is freedom of speech. Number two is, as an expert, someone who has been there, who has experience, it is good that he comes out and speaks to government of the day. He's speaking out of his personal experience, out of what he has done. There are some things in life that when you are in office, you are able to do. There are some things that you are not able to do.
Yeah.
It is your job to come out and say, yes, despite the fact that we're in the office, we could not do this. These are our mistakes. You guys that are currently there, don't make the same mistakes that we have made. So it is very good that we have people like IBB or Obasanjo coming out to tell us, because it's a kind of learning from their experience, either good or bad.
I think I agree with you on the dot. Then on page 13, we have 3.4 billion fraud. Sanusi Ganduje greets as Kano Commission recommends Emir suspension.
It's a Salah period, so they need to greet.
Okay,
we don't fight during, but this is politics as it is. This is the society. Despite the fact that yes, there's a lot of rapport between the governor and the emir, it doesn't mean that when they come to the public domain that you will still not see them smiling, right? So even though journalists write news, people, you'll be surprised. They still call themselves, they still talk. These are things that happen. It happens a lot. I remember one of the stories I read about Mama Tinubu. There was a Tinubu of the 1817, and so talking about the various obas in Lagos, how she supported different obas at different times. She married like 3 or 4 of them, and in my mind, while I was reading that story, I saw a woman who understood how power actually works. I saw a woman who wanted something and knew how to get it. So it's not a matter of fight, it's not quarrel, it's power. It's the way power goes. There are a lot of compromises. There are a lot of, it's not constant, it's transient, right? So these things happen. The Kano Emirates was not like this, right? So about 200 years ago, it was something else. In the next 400 years, it's still going to be something else.
Yes, something
It's a cycle.
else. It's a cycle. Okay.
Yeah.
Going to page 42 of the Vanguard, talking about minimum wage, how states can avert trouble in living. I'll just give a shot on that.
Yeah,
Is it realistic?
I hope that it's not just about talking about it; it's about working at it. Because before you set minimum wage, you need to look at what are the metrics.
But right now we've set one, and
that's the thing. So I hope that they've looked at the metrics,
Yeah.
but because a lot of new governors are coming out to say this thing is not realistic, So what were the metrics used? What were the yardstick? And for those states that are not viable, what is the plan to build them out?
Okay, maybe this will just make them go back inside and get something.
But it's not sustainable.
Well,
30,000 naira is quite a small amount of money for someone earning honest wage. At the same time, the governors are saying that they cannot.
We'll see what they bring to the table, and then
don't forget, Oyo State has already said that they will need to have another negotiation.
Yeah,
that they cannot.
So we'll see how that ends. Hopefully, it doesn't end up in another strike. And then, lastly, just to mention, UK seizes 82 billion naira Abuja loans.
I like our uncle. Every time that we are that we have issues with cash, there's always a way.
Coming from somewhere.
Something coming from somewhere.
But it looks like this would not end. It's been coming and coming.
It's a bad situation that Nigeria just found itself, in the sense that leaders who have gone in the past, we are still having this story of the looted fund. And I also would like to maybe appeal to the international community. When something like this happens, this money is taken somewhere, right? Whoever is the receiving country is also. It should be indicted, right?
Yeah, because they're accomplices.
Yeah, exactly. There is an accomplice.
The president once said it also. When he went in one of those trips, and he told them that please don't collect money from this people.
Yes.
And I think.
That's the thing. So those things. We need to clean up our system. We need to clean up ourselves internally. At the same time, if a country wants to, if we say that we are trading partners, or we are trade partners, or we say that we are Commonwealth partners, we should be able to watch out for my back, right? Yeah.
True. Okay, and that's about it on the Vanguard. You can see the picture of the president, his son Yusuf, and then his chief of staff Abakari, and the chief of staff Tuko Borotai and others at the Eid prayers. Okay, so get a copy of the Vanguard and get all of the news, and also our column is Prince Will, Fashion, Dear Bumi, and of course inside the South is also on today's Vanguard. I think that's a total package. So let's before we take some of the comments we have here, we'll just run through some of the headlines, which are some of the things we've talked about. So we'll just brush through them. On the front page of the Daily Sun says Oyegun versus Oshiomhole fight gets messier, and then the exchange of war. Oshiomhole conducted most fraudulent primaries. Oyegun couldn't deal with political despots, and that's APC.
Man, these people are brothers.
Yeah, so they will find a way around it. Yes, here's something interesting here is the Nigeria Bande, elected UNGA president.
Yeah, it's a good thing. The former president was in Nigeria some few weeks ago. And there was that discussion about Nigeria, and there was no other candidates, by the way, so it was a smooth election. Yeah. But the next thing is, UN General Assembly is a place where they discuss international conflict, security, and all of that. So the question we'll be asking ourselves is, what are the contributions that Nigeria is bringing to the table in terms of fighting security, in terms of resolving internal conflicts? We still have those conflicts in Kaduna. We have conflicts in Rivers State, Zamfara. So what are the expertise that Nigeria is bringing to the table?
Well,
at the same time, what are the benefits that Nigeria is going to derive from having one of our own heading, this reputable organization.
Talking about what we stand to benefit from this, when we go to that kind of assembly, it's an assembly, gathering of experts, giving solutions to problems. If what we can put on the table is problems, and we get solution from the rest of the world, I think that is still something.
But it's not a good position.
Even just not because that's the position we are right now.
It's not a good position.
We really have to live with it.
So we can have problems, but we should have solutions.
It comes from different. We benefited from some people's problem over time, getting from the solutions that they brought. So if we come and we are honestly talking about the state of the nation in terms of insecurity, I mean, this might just give us a new way of getting. The president has spoken to some of these countries privately that come support Nigeria. I think the last of them was Russia. Come help Nigeria conduct. If we discuss it at an assembly and we really explain how big it is, it does not matter who is bringing the problem or who is bringing the solution.
Don't forget that this kind of assembly, right? Nigeria has always had a permanent delegate, which is this man, right? So that means our problems have always been tabled, except you are saying this man was not doing his job.
Well,
that means our problems have always been
probably bigger. Right
exactly.
Now.
So, but now that is the president. He's not the president of Nigeria.
I know.
And he's not the president representing Nigeria. He's now representing the entire world.
Yes. Okay.
Right? Which means the problems of Syria, the problems of Afghanistan, the problems of Iran.
So we shouldn't even be talking about. We shouldn't even be talking about what is in it for Nigeria, because right now that person might be from Nigeria, but it's not in Nigeria.
So his job description might not be Nigeria.
So let's see those that will represent Nigeria in this assembly and see what they bring to the table.
That's
from Nigeria.
So
okay.
Now because it's my brother that is now the leader, so we can have like a discussion to say, oh, this is the problem that we have in Nigeria. You can put it as part of the agenda.
And let's see how much you take advantage of that position.
Exactly. So it's taking advantage of it.
Yes, NAS 9th Assembly in the NAS, Kalu deserves Deputy Senate President's position. That is Iowa.
Politicking has started.
Yeah, started already.
And
Okay.
it's going across the state.
Yes, we see. Then also on the front page of the Punch, reactions as UK seizes fresh 82 billion Abacha loot. Still talking about the same thing. Then FG begins 2020 budget preparation, warns against inflating costs.
We should just quickly be fast with it.
And hope that by January we are done with anything that has to come here. So this is a good step.
I think this next level should be different, and it will be different because I think the party is taking proactive steps in determining the leadership of the assembly.
Yeah,
so that will go a long way, So
we'll see how far that takes us, and then of course the word exchange APC between Oyegun and Oshiomhole is also from the Punch and other things. So yes, there's another one here. FG lists Adedova, Kudirat Abiola orders for all of fame.
Yeah, this is very good.
Yes.
It's good. It will serve as inspiration for people that are also currently committed to their job and whatever problems they are solving.
Yeah. Okay. Away from that Punch to the Guardian, Godfathers may hijack 9th National Assembly, opposition warns.
Everybody will always talk.
This is a world. This is a world of Godfatherism. So
everybody will always have an opinion. But I think that the APC party, as a party, needs to be very careful this time around. It will determine a lot in what they're going to achieve in the next 4 years. And don't forget, Nigerians are wiser. Nigerians are now proactive in determining who leads them or not. So 4 years is enough to determine who becomes the next president.
True.
And it goes across state as well. If you don't perform in the next 4 years, there is no incumbent governor anymore.
It doesn't happen.
It won't happen.
And I think that's good for us as a people.
It's good, yes. It shows that we are getting wiser and smarter.
So, and another is a very overlooked polls outcome pledges adequate security for Abuja residents.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yes, we'll talk about that the other time. Just restructured in another way. And on the front page of the Nation, Oshiomhole cleaning your mess. APC replies Oyegun. So APC is speaking for Oshiomhole on this issue, and the ex-chairman and Adedova party without blemish says aid. Okay, let's see who wins this battle of words. And then the Nation driver abducted in Rivers. This is not good. On this line.
It's part of what we were saying about insecurity. So it's very bad. Very bad. We hope that the person is.
Okay, and then still on that page, the Osinbajo, Nigeria set for breakthrough. We hope we need breakthrough from anything. So
He's a pastor, so I'll probably be on the pulpit and
say some good things. Okay.
good things about
Yes,
it.
let us before we go into the trend, we look at the trends. Let's just see what some of our viewers are saying, and if you are yet to drop your comment, you can make it happen now. Keep it clean, keep it simple, so that we will be able to read you. Tonye Okoye say Vanguard Television, Vanguard Live Online. Then Adiat Makri saying, here we are from Ondo State. Thank you for watching. Ahmad Baba watching from Kano State, Nigeria. Thank you for watching. The Prestige Nelly saying, good morning Vanguard. Good morning to you too. Engineer Kunle Kamara says, I love your program here from Kaduna. Thank you. We're glad you're there.
That's very good. Thank you.
Yeah. Then Isaac Rollins said, it is called politics of sightism. It's evident in our political culture. Individuals have corruption cases pending at the court, are still parading themselves as public office holders.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay.
It's true.
Yeah. And that is what it is. Thank you
and
for that.
I think we even talked about it before.
Yes, we did. Thank you, Isaac. Then we have another person here. Wahid saying, well done. Then Oladipo Oluwaseun saying, good morning to you too. Let us quickly go to the trends and see what Nigerians are talking about on social media. It looks like we have a good presence there every time. Yeah. The first one on that thread is Abacha Lutz World Environment Day, Wednesday Motivation, Wednesday Wisdom, Beat Air Pollution, Hard Message, Nigeria, Buhari, Jesus, then Maradona. We'll just take a couple of them. Let us take Abacha Lutz, yeah? Everybody's talking about. Yes, everybody's talking about the money recovered.
Uncle always sharing money.
Yes,
from the grave.
We just see money come up on. Mahmoud Tribe is saying at Muhammad Buhari, at M Buhari, please don't use Abacha Lutz as trader money, and please don't give it to your governors too. Instead, use it to fix power or security that is bedeviling the nation. Thank you.
Which is a good comment.
Yes, I think that is
a good comment.
The
trader money, even the president's wife, she had a comment about it, and it wasn't a good comment, by the way. But the special advisor to the president, what's her name, Madam Owais, she came on channels to talk about, the things that she had done with the money and all of that. But if you look at it and if you ask me, the trader money situation, the government had good intentions when you say you want to do social intervention.
Yeah.
But that is not the right approach. Right, so it's good that you want to lift people out of poverty, but if we want to look at countries that have done that, especially India has the highest number of social enterprises in the world, about 2 million social enterprises, and currently in the US there's an office in the White House called the Social Innovations Establishment. What they do is purely what this government is trying to do, but in a structured way. You are supposed to empower, just like India did, you are supposed to empower few people who are in social innovations and give them the fund to build systems, structures that will provide employment, and at the same, it's like doing good while doing business, while making profit. You are doing good, right? So it's not about sharing money, to people. It's not about giving people free money.
No, those are not free money. Actually, sometimes.
What is the recovery plan?
I think they have one they talked about that you're supposed to pay an amount in a period of time, and if you do just that correctly, then you get more. It might not have worked to the letter.
Exactly. So that's what Madam Buhari was saying.
But then again,
that the money you are giving, that you call it trader loan. What is the recovery plan on 10,000 naira, 5,000 naira? What is the recovery plan? The people you are giving 10,000 naira, right, to go and make money. What is the profits expected? Yeah. This same person will spend an average of 1,000 naira per week on power. This same person will spend an average of maybe 500 naira per week, to feed the family. This same person will spend an average of maybe another 2,000 naira per week to pay school fees. There's.
Is this supposed to come from that money?
She's running business.
Okay.
You run business to make profit right? So it's from that petty business that she's feeding her family. So you give me money to run that business, I expect that I'm going to eat from that business.
From the
She doesn't have any
business.
other source of income.
Okay, still talking about hashtag Abacha loot. Dikpo Awojide say, I see people making jokes about this Abacha loot. I don't know how you can joke about someone that potentially destroyed your future and country.
That's Ogbeni Dipo, right?
Yeah,
He's been talking about it since yesterday.
Yes, then Sam Uche is a late General Ibrahim is the most generous head of state that ruled Nigeria. Talking about sending money once per administration. It is that much, and that is some of the joke that is talking about there. Really, maybe we shouldn't dwell much on this. I know Nigerians are angry about this, and it might just not be too good.
It's annoying at the same time. It's also funny.
Yes, I agree.
We look like a joke to the international community.
Okay, talking about World Environment Day. People are saying things. Let us see. Dr. Chioma Unwa-Kanna says air pollution is a silent killer, especially Lagos. Says that's the headquarters.
And
Problems.
also Rivers State.
And River State.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. But then he said problem versus solution. Poor waste disposal versus proper as a solution. Is that correct? Generators versus steady lights and solar power. Okay. Cut trees and plant trees. Yeah. Car exhaust fumes versus electric solar cars.
Well, those are wishful
solutions that he's talking about the problems and likely solutions to consider. Then overpopulation and traffic.
Some countries are already implement some of these things, so it's not new actually. It's just that it's new to us in this part of the world.
Okay, let us take one from Amina Mohammed talking about the deputy UN president, our former minister of environment. Yeah. The air pollution harms our health and our common home. 9 out of 10 people are breathing polluted air. This World Environment Day, I'm calling on the global community to take action to beat.
She's actually one of the
pollution.
One of the women that I admire the most.
Yeah, really good.
She's very calm. She seems to know exactly what she's doing.
Yes.
And I like the what she did while she was minister, even though she was not allowed to finish. The going to clean up the environment, some of the policies that she brought to the table. So but I wish her well in her current role.
Yeah, I think she's been representing.
But ever since she left, the Ministry of Environment has not been as forthcoming as
it was when she was then talking about replacing a very good person with another good person. Yeah. It's not always easy. Banding with our friends says, let's save our environment, let's plant trees. I should have had a tree project in Lagos, but then it looks like that died with this administration.
Maybe now that we are bringing it to the table, maybe Governor.
Yes, it is World Environmental Day, and even beyond Lagos, this is really going to help us. The time where everybody's talking about global warming, too much heat, less rain. Maybe this is a good we can do to ourselves. Just plant trees. When you are cutting, make sure you are replacing with another. It would go a long way. Okay.
And everybody should have garden in his house.
Okay.
Yeah, because that's where it starts from.
Okay, Akwete Mohammed Mustafa says there is a great deal we can do to beat air pollution. He said, number 1, use clean energy instead of generator, talking about solar. Put your vehicle in proper condition, dispose waste properly, save the trees, tell somebody to help beat air pollution. Once upon a time, there used to be something on Ministry of, is it MOA? The one that talks about traffic, your roadworthiness of a car. They have one acronym then that makes them very, very fearful. The Ministry of I forgot MOT, Ministry of Transportation.
Okay, Ministry of Transportation.
Yes, they go about kind of. They go about ensuring that your car is roadworthy. I think that was during Obasanjo's time also. If they see your car with bad exhaust, they can impound that car and let you do something about it. But every time you see this, and
it's the same thing that we talk about when it comes to administrations and governance. As a leader, one of the first things you look at when you are analyzing problems is to determine the root cause analysis. What exactly is causing it? Why are people using bad cars on the road? That's one. So why we are allowing
those have that answer?
No, so why we are allowing those cars in Nigeria? That's the first thing. Okay. So do we want to regulate the kind of cars that enter Nigeria? 1. 2. Do we want to have an automotive policy such that we assemble the cars in Nigeria? That's 2. Second is, third is the kind of roads that people drive. Are the roads actually worthy of those kinds of cars? Because if you buy your car in the next 3 years, you will see that your car has not remained the same, despite the fact that there is regular maintenance and everything. Why? Because the roads are bad. So exactly. So the government needs to determine its role. It's not just about regulating the people, it's about providing the enabling environment where people can actually thrive.
Yeah, I agree totally with that. And there's one from WHO Western Pacific. It said today is World Environmental Day. We can improve our environment to improve our health. That is just simple. And I think they have some guidelines. Let me take that, and that's a wrap here. It said apply low carbon strategies in energy generation, housing, and the industry. 2, use more active and public transportation. 3, introduce clean fuels for cooking, heating, and lighting. And clean technologies. Reduce occupational exposures and improve working conditions. 5, increase access to safe water and adequate sanitation and promote hand washing. And 6, change consumption patterns to lower the use of harmful chemicals, minimize waste production, and save energy.
There's something you mentioned about the public transportation, and I still say it. We need to change some perception in Nigeria. When people see you in public transport, the perception is that maybe something is bad. You no longer have money to drive your own car. So we have this perception that people in public transport are poor people, right? While until you get your own car, that's when you become rich. It's a very bad way of thinking.
We really need to restructure
if we want
things
to
about ourselves as a nation and as
value
a people.
system. Yes,
it is pretty difficult how the school of thought that we graduated from, if there's any at all.
So when people meet others on the road and they see that you're coming out of public transport, they kind of look down on you as if maybe you are nothing. Do you get? Meanwhile, public transports are meant to be like the best form of transportation. They are meant to be because you are paying for it already. You are paying tax. And when you even take public transport, it's not free. You are still paying. It's just that it's subsidized from the tax that you are paying, right? So if we are judiciously using this money, we should be able to have the best transportation system. In that way, it will reduce the number of cars on the road. It will reduce exposure of the environment to fuels, and we are building the environment.
We can go on and on talking about Nigeria, talking about the environment and everything, and then there will still be a whole world to talk about. But then we have to go right now. Tunji, it's been a wonderful time here. Speaking with Tunji Adeni, is the program director of YNAC. Yes,
Thank you very much.
You are so far away from us here. We hope to do this regularly, maybe once a week. Yes, because it's important that we have people on ground talking about. As Nigerians, talking about exactly what Nigerians are going to, and putting it in the right perspective. It might be an agenda setting program for the government because it is a two-edged sword. The government is trying to do something. You are trying to make them see what they should do. And that is what we
I'm being on the spot here, but we can always discuss it.
Thank you very much for coming. My name is Victor Oguyinka, and I'm doing this with Bankole Idowu. Thank you very much for watching.